Welcome to Nitpicking Nerds, and it's time for some of our favorites.
Our 10 favorite cards of all time.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Beezy, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds, brought to you by our amazing patrons who make this entire thing possible. You can obviously go join their ranks, or you can just watch their names scroll and go, wow, those are nice names.
Yeah, you give us money directly via Patreon, and honestly, that is the best way to support this channel besides maybe just watching it.
Also, TCG Player, if there's an affiliate link in the description, you can go there, buy the cards you're going to buy anyway, and then they give us a kickback, and it's no extra money for you. Is there another affiliate link?
Yeah, there is. There's actually DragonShield.com. You go to DragonShield, buy the best sleeves in the multiverse.
Good sleeves.
And once you get those sleeves sent to your house, you'll realize, oh my goodness, I spent the same amount of money, cost me nothing extra, but I supported the Nitpicking Nerds.
And this exact episode, and all episodes, are sponsored by Moxfield, and we're going to have an ad in the middle that will blow your mind into little tiny pieces.
You're going to be like, dang, that was an ad for Moxfield? I thought that was a new Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, exactly. And happy birthday to everyone whose birthday is today, and all your pets too.
Yes, so let's get into this. Pretty simple video. We're just having a little bit of fun today. We're talking about some of our favorite cards. These cards aren't necessarily strong. They aren't necessarily good. They aren't necessarily anything. They're just cards that, for one reason or another, that we're going to explain in this video, we just like. So
yeah, these are our favorites.
Favorites. Doesn't matter what the reasons are. We're actually going to tell you. First one, this is a brand new of my favorite cards. Like this card's been around forever, but it just became one of my favorite cards.
But why?
Because of new art. It's Bearscape. And if you don't know, I don't care about what the card does at all. Literally,
makes bears.
It does make bears. But if it said nothing, if it was a blank piece of cardboard, I would still love this card because of the art. It is so nice. The whole secret layer for this is just representation for the LGBTQ community, and it's amazing. This one just has a bunch of cute bears sitting in a hot tub, and the two of them are cuddling, and it's not sexual at all, and if you think it is, you're wrong.
Does not crack the top 100 does not crack the top 1,000 most inappropriate Magic cards, to the point where, not even in the discussion, this is cute, it's cool, it's great, there's no problems with it.
Yeah, oh, I love this card so much. I'm literally going to put it into my Jetmir tokens deck just because of this art. Like, I would have not, if you had told me I was going to play Bearscape a year ago, I'd be like, but why? This card sucks.
For a pun.
What's your first one?
Yeah, it's not in any particular order, but one of my next favorite cards is Elvish Visionary. Back when I first started playing, this is like the card that introduced me to like value, the value train. I think this is why I love spinning my wheels so much. It's because I was like, oh, okay, I got my card back. Now there's something on the board. I can do a bunch of stuff with that. I think I was playing Elf Tribal at the time, and that just was even bigger, and that just led to me spinning my wheels forever. Elvish Visionary is the card to blame.
Kind of hilarious because Elvish Visionary is like, it's only the best version of the card because it's an elf, but like there's like the walls are better than this card on average in any non-elf deck.
Well, also, the art played a big factor.
Yes.
My favorite color is orange by a mile. It's amazing. And that's just all over the card, and the art is also just amazing.
Yeah, and I do love that we got a legendary Elvish Visionary in Fibblethip.
Yeah, we do have a legend.
It's literally legendary Elvish Visionary, and that's amazing.
I love all versions of Elvish Visionary, but he is my favorite.
Yes, it's definitely a she.
She is my favorite.
Elvish Visionary, definitely a she.
They are my favorites.
Yeah, my next favorite one, I'm looking to get an alpha version of this card eventually. It's a lot of money because all alpha cards are a lot of money. It's Animate Wall. And now it makes a wall be able to attack, but I don't care about that whatsoever.
Joe doesn't care about text boxes, apparently.
Not for these first couple of cards at all. This is a grumpy wall. It is so funny. And the person on the card is like, oh my God, not a wall.
My fingers are elongating.
Yeah, it's so good. The wall doesn't even look like it can hurt you at all, but it has little arms and little feet.
You know what would have, the best part is, if this was the base of the wall, you know it would have to move like this. The feet are just for show.
It's so good. And it's just, the wall just looks so unhappy. It's like, why'd you wake me up?
It's also in a black hole. There's nothing in the background. It's just this like blank canvas.
It's not scary at all.
No.
So it's just standing there. It looks like someone painted a face on it. It's grumpy. But the woman is scared.
Overreacting.
Scared poopless. Like,
she can probably move faster than the wall.
I mean, that was the wall going to do anything to her. And like,
10 out of 10 scene. 10 out of 10. My next one is Deathray Shaman. Maybe just out of the context of Legacy because it's kind of just busted. I just like the fact that this is a little Swiss Army knife. I'm a big mid-range fan in 60 card formats, I'm probably just playing mid range. I'm playing Fatal Push. I'm playing all that crap. So I even tried this in Pioneer because I just love the fact that it comes down early, blocks all the 1/1s, and then it just gets value forever. I play this card in Commander all the time just because I love it.
It's hilarious. I think Deathray Shaman is such a fair Magic card outside of the world of fetch lands. It's just fetch lands that really bust this card in half and turn it into a mana dork.
Where it like turns your deck into 5-color nonsense. Also, you can't lose if this thing stays in play because it's a clock.
You were already going to play fetch lands. Like, if you're going to play Fabled Passage, not every deck wants to play Fabled Passage. It has downsides. It has drawbacks. Like, that kind of fetch land is the kind of fetch land that should be a Magic. And, like, when those things exist, then it's like, oh, Deathray Shaman's a fair Magic card. I had to take a hit to my deck to make my Deathray Shaman better. And the other abilities are okay, but it's like, when fetch lands exist, now this is a Planeswalker in those situations.
I just love everything about it.
It's such a cool card. I really, I love the design. I think the design is good. I think fetch signs are designed like poop. My next one is a card I actually do have a story for. I told on the channel before, but I'll tell it again because I love it. It's Stolen Goods. It's really bad. It's
terrible.
3 in a blue. Somebody exiles from the top of their deck until you hit 1 card, and then you cast it. You hit a lot of bad stuff with this. But what I absolutely love about it is I put it in one of my very first, it was one of my first rares I opened and got in a pack.
So it had nostalgia value already.
It did, and I threw it into my Melstrom Wanderer deck just to play it. Like, whatever. I'm just going to play my Melstrom Wanderer deck, play this off a Cascade once in a while. Cascade off of your deck, basically.
That's what Commander's for.
It's there to have fun. And then, literally, that deck got stolen out of my car, and a human being brought it and sold it to the store that I was working at the time, and had the deck still together, and within the deck was Stolen Goods, the most identifiable card in the deck. No other human was playing that card in anything except me. So I knew it was my deck, and I was able to just get it back.
Right. So Stolen Goods as Stolen Goods save your deck.
Yes, it was the defining feature that could tell me there is no doubt in my mind this is my deck.
Yeah, that's a really sweet one. Maybe top 3 stories we're gonna tell. I have the next one. It's Siege Rhino. So I was like the biggest Abzan fan in the world before Abzan came out, and then when Abzan came out, everyone was like, "Oh, it's got BZ in it." I'm like, "That's pretty cool." So first of all, good job Wizards for knowing that me as a 14-year-old really was excited about Abzan. So this is just like the quintessential mid-range card. You just slam it. It's bigger than everything that's going to threaten it, and it drains, so it helps you stabilize. 2 Siege Rhinos, there's not many feelings that are more satisfying in Magic than just sitting behind 2 Siege Rhinos, jamming with one of them and just going, I don't care what happens. It's so fun.
So the thing about Siege Rhino that's really funny is not only was it just a quintessential Abzan card, it was really good.
Super good.
Like it dominated that format standard, that format of standard so much. And on top of that, it's just an Abzan card. It's your favorite combination of colors, and it's amazing.
It all works. It's such a simple design.
It was one of the best cards in that format.
It might have been top 3.
It was literally it was definitely top 5 cards in that whole format.
Super cool.
My next one is Stuffy Doll. A 0/1 Doll takes damage. You deal damage to the opponent you chose when it came in. This card is nothing special. It really relates back to I always liked the Boros Reckoner effect when I first saw it.
Every version of that.
Version of that I liked. But what I really liked about Stuffy Doll and drew me to it more than anything was that it had the horror doll theme, kind of like Child's Play or Chucky, which I had always been petrified of as a kid. And then even into my early 20s, I was still still had a fear for that. I still get uncomfortable around stuff like dolls that are creepy because of that movie from when I was a child.
So this is like you taking control?
Kind of. It's more like now Stuffy Doll is nostalgic, and Child's Play is nostalgic to me. It's why I watched that crappy Chucky show with you. We watched it because I love it and it's nostalgic to me. And that's why same with Stuffy Doll. Stuffy Doll is now just a nostalgic card.
You may or may not have brewed an entire deck coming up in a future Shuffle Scuffle around Stuffy Doll.
Oh, I did.
My next one, Bottlenose.
This one's weird to me.
Pure meme, pure comedy gold. This, I think, is one of my favorites because it was the first comedy card that I was exposed to. I got it from a Jace versus Chandra duel deck. I don't know which deck it was in or why, but this card is terrible. But the fact that just the little cute little stubby gnomes and the hand coming in and the reinforcements or refreshments, this just kills me every time. I love their dorky little statures, and they're ready to go to battle, but they can't do anything.
Yeah, they're actually kind of very similar to food before food existed.
Ooh, yeah, they're basically a food.
Yeah, I mean, they're food that can sacrifice without a cost, which is kind of cool. I mean, I think if they printed this exact card now, they just would be a food, which is really funny to think about.
This is it was a meme back then in high school, and I just have loved it the whole time.
I just love that. I mean, the coolest thing about the flavor of this card is that you can either have your Bottlenose, your 1/3 little soldiers that fight for you, or you can drink them and they die.
Right,
and you gain life.
Definitely that's worthy of an uncommon. For sure.
Very worthy of an uncommon.
3 life.
Yeah,
they don't just tack 3 life onto Magic cards, right?
No, never. Next one is a card from the brand new set. It's new Capenna card. It's Witness Protection, and this has got to be one of the cutest flavors ever in Magic's history. It puts a creature into Witness Protection and changes its name to Legitimate Business Person. You've got to be kidding me. That's the cutest thing ever. On top of that, there's a million flavor fails with it, because how do you put something like an elephant in Witness Protection? It's so good.
Thinking about it for 5 seconds or more is just going to be guaranteed funny.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so, and like the whole card, and on top of being, that is the best version of this effect we've ever seen.
In blue.
In blue. It's one of the best versions of this effect that we've ever seen, because it is 1 mana to actually just take away all the abilities of a creature.
And I love that it loses all identifiable characteristics. It's like, Emrakul. Well, there's no tentacles, doesn't fly, doesn't trample over, just a regular citizen trying to go to work. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, Emrakul goes to work, works in her business job, just leave her alone.
Comes home to like Ulamog and Kaz, like, work was killer.
Oh, I've been cooking all day. Is that
Ulamog?
It's Ulamog. Ulamog
loves double elbows.
Yeah, he's just was cooking. That's the noise they make.
My next one is Tireless Tracker. I love spinning wheels. I love doing things. This puts permanence into play. It's like really hard to describe how safe I feel going off with a Tireless Tracker, especially this one with fetch lands. I would like fetch lands, please. I got to play this for so long in Modern. I was just playing like black-green mid-range. This was like the centerpiece of the deck, because once you get it out, you just start taking over. And I love the inevitability of like a mid-range engine. This card is so much fun to play. I'll play it any chance I get. I draft it. I don't pass this card in Commander Cube.
Yeah, yes you did. You passed it literally last Commander Cube.
It wheeled.
And it wheeled. Yeah, you got lucky. This card is awesome. I mean, Tireless Tracker is such a cool value engine. I don't even think it's very good anymore. And
Which is like so sad.
There's like no, I don't think it's good in any format. Maybe Pioneer. Maybe. And that's a maybe. I don't think it's good in Commander. I don't think it's good.
Power creep is real. And this is from Shadows or Eldritch Moon, one of those two. And it's like, we're already crept out to this thing's not being good anymore.
Yeah, it's a
walking 2-for-1. As soon as you play this in a land, it's a 2-for-1. But that's not good enough.
It's a little sad. But you know what isn't sad? Moxfield.com, the sponsor of this video. The most awesome, perfect, easy to use deck building website in the entire multiverse.
Even just mentioning Moxfield is going to bring Amber right into the video. How can you be mad at a sponsor for doing that? One of my favorite things about Moxfield, probably the primer section. If you're not sure how a deck runs, especially for CDH, but even regular EDH, like what is Marchesa Modular? What the heck is that? If we wrote a primer on it, you could just click the button without having to leave the site and go to like Reddit or something and figure out exactly how to play the deck.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes it really easy to write a primer. It's just like, hey, here's a spot. Write a primer, do it. Bing, bang, boom, I believe the kids say.
All in one place. So go, do it. Otherwise, we don't like you.
Boom, got him. Next is another one of mine. It's Elsbeth Sun's Champion. Now, this is right around when I started like getting into Standard and playing Magic. So what I really love about this card is this was the first like Planeswalker that resonated with me. I remember Jace was in Standard. Vraska saw some play. And there was some cards here or there that we're seeing some play. But Elsbeth was like
the card
for Standard.
It was Thoughtseize, and then it was Elsbeth.
And Thoughtseize and Elsbeth. And Elsbeth just absolutely felt like she ran Standard. She was so awesome. She was the coolest Planeswalker. She's still one of my favorite Planeswalkers of all time. And this card specifically is what made me fall in love with the character.
Fun fact, I would have put this card on my list in place of Deathray Shaman, but I didn't want to double up.
Why is it one of your favorite cards?
I think Elsbeth is one of the best Magic characters, if not the best Magic character. I'm actually invested in her story. I care what she's doing. I feel for her. Every other character is just kind of like a flat piece of paper, but I think Elsbeth was just great from the beginning. I love her whole vibe. I love that she's just like strong. She's on her own little journey, and she got super mega backstab, so I felt bad for her. And now she's back and kicking butt.
But she put Heliod underneath the rock in hell.
I love every Elsbeth card, honestly. I just love the character.
Yeah, I mean, Elspeth Sun's Champion just stands above the rest.
Head and shoulders.
Head and shoulders. That was the word I was looking for, but I could not think of it.
Oh, my next card, Lingering Souls. 3 mana for 2 flyers, and then flashback for 2 more flyers. This is probably what started me on the graveyard value train, because I was just thinking, when this card came out in Dark Ascension, it's like, oh, you can mill this. And then it's kind of like drawing a card. And this is like jump-starting the reason I love all these cards like Bloodghast and Nether Trader, cards that you mill with flashback. This is what started it all, and I played this card every single second it was legal and standard the entire time in my like janky junk tokens deck. Intangible Virtue, best friends with this. I love that deck.
Yeah, it was a super cool deck. Lingering Souls is a card that, when I look at it, I think, that's a fine card. It just never had...
I fall in love every time.
It never does anything for me. When you play it in EDH, I laugh a little inside.
Because, yeah, it's in my favorite cards deck, which I think basically all of these are in. I was very sad when this also became unplayable in Modern.
Yeah, it really is. Like, unplayable.
That's how long I've been playing Modern.
Yeah, we've been playing for like 10 years now. Up next, this might be the most powerful of my cards, and it is Scoot Swarm. It is so cool. So whenever land enters, you get an insect. But if you have 6 lands on the battlefield when that trigger happens, you get a new Scoot Swarm. Mm-hmm. So that means each land, you get a Scoot Swarm, then you get 4, then you get 8, 16, 32, 64. It literally just starts getting crazier and crazier and crazier. This is one of my favorite ways to make tokens. I love that it just doubles over and over and over again. That you start with one little bug, and you end up with like 64 bugs. Fetch lands, forget about it.
Yeah, really embodies the whole swarm thing way better than Scoop Mob ever could. That card was just terrible. But I like Scoop Swarm. I love that it's army in a can, like literally. Like this is a must answer threat because they're going to play it on turn 6 or whenever they have 6 lands, and then just double them right away. It's like, well, now there's 2. So you can't spot remove them. Demands a board wipe by itself. You don't have to play anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just in love with Scoot Swarm. I love throwing this in decks. I put it in my my Jetmir deck, even though I don't have like a landfall sub theme. I only have 3 fetches, the on color fetches. It's not good in the deck. I don't care. I'm playing the card.
I'm excited to see your Jetmir deck. It should be fun.
I don't know what happened to my voice there.
My next one is Grist, the Hunger Tide. I've been wanting like a green-black good Planeswalker, especially for Modern, since I started playing Modern. It was just like, where's the green-black Planeswalkers? They always suck. Every Vraska's like 100 mana, and they're just not going to make it. This is the competitive one. This card it like reinvigorated my enjoyment for Modern, although I have since quit playing Modern, but I'm playing Grist in, I have like a CEDH list. I'll play them anywhere I can. Collected Company into Grist, Unearth targeting Grist, Unearth, another one of my favorite cards. The fact that this is a creature in the graveyard just opens up so many doors for my little brewing brain to just go crazy with. And I just think the card actually has a great effect too. It gives the incremental advantage. I love me a Grist.
It's a very silly card. The fact that it, for some reason, is just a creature.
It can be your commander.
Yeah, it can be your commander, even though it doesn't say on the card this card can be your commander, because in every zone, including your command zone, it's a creature.
Super cool card. I think that little like extra bit of text just pushes it over the top.
Now, this next one for me was super silly and fun, and I loved it when it came out. It's Ginger Brew. And, it's this little tiny gingerbread man who's just wreaking havoc. He's kicking over a pie.
It was a joke. Like, I can't believe they made the gingerbread man. And then it was like, oh, man, this card's actually kind of good and limited.
It's kind of good and limited. And then I started playing Yuriko, a Yuriko deck, and I realized, this card is really good. One of the weaknesses of ninja decks can be getting board wiped. Your board gets wiped, you're left with nothing on the board. Now you need to reset in order for the next turn to be the attack in the ninjutsus. Not true with a card like Ginger Brew. Play it, pay 1. Now it can't be blocked.
Ninja something in?
And you ninja something in. This lets you. This was one of the best things to ninjutsu Yuriko on turn 2 in, because you went, all right, boop, yup, Yuriko, put it back in my hand. Then next turn, put it back down, get back in, and ninjutsu something else.
So like meme plus actual playable card.
Literally, it's only playable in Ninjas and Commander. Literally it. But it is so cool in that deck.
I'm just really impressed that they got run as fast as you can. You can't catch me on the gingerbread man, and just put it into an ability, and it makes total sense.
It's so good. It can't be blocked except by creature with haste. You've got to be kidding me. It's so good. You can only catch him if you're fast.
Super sweet. If you're talking about some of my favorite standard cards of all time, I don't think anything could ever beat Emrakul, the Promised End, but when it was legal and standard. That green-black Delirium deck, Traverse the Ulvenwald, Vessel of Nascency, just flipping crap into your graveyard. Emrakulling somebody is the best feeling. I know it's not fun at all, but back in Standard, it doesn't have to be fun for your opponent. I'm just trying to beat them. There were a ton of like the best games of Magic I've ever played where you're making tight decisions, and it really was super engaging for me.
Yeah, I mean, Emrakul the Promised End, in games outside of the mirror, almost always ended the game.
It's just like you're running your best creature into Emrakul minimum, and you're going to make some suboptimal plays.
Yeah,
let me tell you.
The only decks that had a chance were the mirror and the control decks that had board wipes. Other than that, it was GG in like every other matchup. Emrakul's super cool, and I actually play it in Commander right now.
Me too.
It's such a backbreaker. God, this card is backbreaking.
I have stolen some games with Emrakul the Promised Land. Let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. Almost like it might happen in an episode of Shuffle Scuffle, but you'll never know which one.
We'll never say.
We'll never say. My next one is Atali Primal Storm. Yes, please. I started playing this card just here and there in a bunch of different decks. It's cheap.
Satisfying.
It's cheap. It's budget. It has a good effect. It's powerful, even though it's cheap, and it fits in like a million different little strategies. I just keep finding homes for this card without even like, I'm not like, oh, let's just try and force Italian. Like, it's like, no, I'm going to build a Henty Toolbox deck. Okay,
well,
this is a really good card in Henty. I have a Melstrom Wanderer deck. Oh, it's really, really good in Melstrom Wanderer. Anything that gives it haste, it's amazing in. This is like, if you're playing an Urbrass deck, perfect curve in your Urbrass deck to just get in the next turn.
Commander Cube, All-Star, also.
I just think this card is very good. Obviously, it's not busted, broken. It's not like one of the best cards in Commander, but it just fits so many little tiny different strategies.
It's better than Gravetide, let me tell you that.
And it does one of my favorite things that started all the way back with Stolen Goods when I first started playing Stolen Goods, playing my opponent's cards. Oh, I don't know what it is. It's such a good feeling to just beat someone with their own cards.
Yeah, fun fact about me, there's no blue or red cards on my top list. I guess there's no red cards. There's kind of a blue card, but my next one is Carador, Ghost Chieftain. Abzan all day, baby. This was one of the... honestly, there's like no Abzan commanders, first of all. What the heck is going on, Wizards? Please give us more Abzan commanders. This was like the first one that was made for Commander product. It got me into Commander. This was my first Commander deck. I've just been playing it literally ever since. And I've just loved the deck. I love the graveyard. I love the cheeky way to reduce commander tax, but it still wants you to play the game. It still rewards you for decision making. I'm just so lucky that I picked my first ever commander was such a winner.
It's funny because it's like, even if it wasn't necessarily a winner, like you always latch on to your first commander.
Oh, I treat it like a winner.
I mean, the card's great. I mean, the card is really good and powerful. It does scale into late game better. Obviously, something like Marin's a lot better for a graveyard strategy, even without. Like, I love how Marin is so good that's like, I'll take away white. Marin's still a better card.
But I will play Carador till the day I die.
Of course you will.
I have two Carador decks.
You literally have two. My next favorite card was a same story. My favorite commander, or one of my favorite commanders, because it was my first commander, and it is Melstrom Wanderer. It's just so silly. It's a big, giant 7/5, gives everything you have haste. Cascade. That wording was... I love that wording.
Then do it again.
He's like, yeah, it's literally Cascade. Then Cascade again. It's actually the reason I also really love Apex Devastator. It just says Cascade.
Silly.
That's all the text on the dang card. The text box just is that.
4 words, and it's amazing.
It's four words, but it's actually one word 4 times.
I think Carador Ghost Chieftain like perfectly sums up what I want to be doing in Magic, and then Maelstrom Wanderer perfectly sums up what you want to be doing in Magic.
Big, giant, stupid creatures that just beat you down all the time.
Yeah, and we're going to go to my last one. This is Joe's done 10, and I've done 9, so it's my last one. Probably knew this one was coming. It's Imperial Archangel. I absolutely love this card. It is my favorite card, not even close. Nothing could ever beat it. Sorry, nostalgia is a powerful drug. This was my first Mythic Rare I ever opened, and I guess it was a lot of people's first, because Shards of Lar was the first set that even had Mythic Rares. But I remember all my friends were opening Mythics, and I would go down to the card shop like once a week, because I couldn't drive, and I would just always hope for a Mythic. I didn't care. I didn't know any better. And then when I opened this one, I was just like, oh, finally, whoa! And I was just convinced that it was the strongest thing ever. I would try to build decks around it, but you can't really do that, especially back in 2008. What are you ever targeting this with?
Yeah, I mean...
But so I redeemed myself, built a deck all around enchanting this thing and Voltrining it up. That's one of my favorite decks.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really cool card. It's one that if you sit from a point of like, you're not BZ, it's like, this card sucks. What do you see in this card?
In my universe.
In fact, if BZ didn't open this card, BZ would be talking about how much this. Actually, no, we would never talk about this.
I would never have said it.
We wouldn't even. It would never get brought up because it would just be a bulk mythic from Shards of Alara.
But I think the art also just totally killer.
Beautiful.
I have multiple things with that artwork on it now. There's one in the studio for Shuffle Scuffle. Just wow, this is super nostalgic. I think my exact copy too. Like I don't want a foil. I don't care. My beat up regular copy is my favorite Magic card.
We did something very similar to this where we talked about our pack cards, which wasn't the exact same thing because what we did there that was different is that we talked about cards that we put in decks and we force ourselves to play.
Like gameplay wise, I don't necessarily play any of these except for fun.
Except for, and like, like I'm not putting, what's it called? Witness Protection in any decks, but I'm still going to talk about a few of my favorite cards. So check out that video.
It's right here.
Yeah, peace out, Tribe Scouts.